Kou-Chan and Noroma were holding hands and walking until they were stopped by a teacher. They told Kou-Chan that he must be such a caring boy, but he told them that Noroma is just an idiot who can't do anything for herself, so he has to help her. After the teacher left, Noroma looked up at Kou-Chan and thanked him for helping her. Kou-Chan blushed slightly, as when Noroma smiled, she looked cute to him. Other than that though, she looked short and ugly to him. However, they both would eventually learn that they can't live without each other. Noroma became a tall girl with a deep voice, and she knew that Kou-Chan couldn't live without her. As she grew, every area increased, and everyone noticed her large legs. Sometime in the future, the pair met up once again, and Noroma had a glow-up. Beaming with happiness, she greeted Kou-Chan. Kou-Chan was surprised but returned the greeting, before questioning in his mind if the guy next to her was her boyfriend. Kou-Chan couldn't say anything else as he began to choke up, tears welling in his eyes. He realized how handsome the guy who Noroma was with was, and cursed himself that he lost her. Meanwhile, Noroma was lapping up the misery that Kou-Chan showed, finding it adorable that he was about to cry. What Kou-Chan didn't know was that the guy was Noroma's relative. He questioned if it was okay that Kou-Chan misunderstood their relationship, but Noroma said it was fine, salivating from seeing the suffering and sadness in Kou-Chan's face. Kou-Chan used to tease Noroma about her height, commenting that she was 7 inches smaller than him. However, in middle school, he was frustrated that Noroma was now the same size as him, and he could no longer tease her about it. However, as adults, Kou-Chan had a height complex and was miserable anytime Noroma was around, as she was a clear head taller than him. Seeing Kou-Chan's suffering due to her growth got Noroma hot and bothered. Cutting back to high school, Kou-Chan insulted Noroma, saying that she's useless without him. Noroma just took it and gave an apology, the words bouncing off her like water off a duck's back. Kou-Chan had a superiority complex towards Noroma, saying that she hadn't really changed. Everything was the same except that she'd gotten taller. He comforted himself in the knowledge that she has no one else but him. However, Kou-Chan then noticed a boy talking to Noroma and questioned who he was, panic beginning to set in. Noroma told the boy that she had to reject him because she had Kou-Chan in her life. Hearing that, the boy snapped, asking what's good about Kou-Chan and that he's terrible to her. As the boy went in to preach his qualities, Noroma cut him off, saying that his nastiness is what she liked about him, what she liked about Kou-Chan. Noroma admitted that Kou-Chan was a selfish jerk, who makes himself feel above others by putting them down. He considers Noroma to be his possession, but he was a pathetic person, and she found that adorable and irresistible. She said that that's how he is, but he can't live without her. After Noroma had made her own confession to the boy, he was left standing there clueless. However, Kou-Chan was looking on from around the corner, nervously staring on, curious as to what was happening with Noroma. He couldn't hear what was being said, and it was gutting him slowly. As the panic set in further, he couldn't believe that Noroma was being confessed to. Trying to soothe himself, he mentally belittled Noroma, saying that no one could see her as a woman. However, since he was lost in his own mind, he didn't notice Noroma approaching, and once she greeted him, he almost jumped out of his skin from fright. His defensiveness caused Noroma to be curious, and she questioned why he was here and if he needed something. He hesitated at first, but eventually, he asked what Noroma was saying while she was talking to the other boy. Kou-Chan then decided to try and put Noroma down, saying that if the boy was really confessing to her, then he was a loser. Stunning Kou-Chan, Noroma coldly replied that even if that was the truth, why would she have to tell him? Luckily for the weight on Kou-Chan's heart, Noroma explained that it was just a classmate, nothing more. The relief was evident on Kou-Chan's face. Returning to his smug stride, Kou-Chan questioned rhetorically about who would actually date Noroma, but he questioned why he was saying these things. However, he didn't see that Noroma was blushing and breathing heavily, as she thought that she loved this rough tsundere side of him as much as she loved his miserable expressions. One day, Noroma greeted Kou-Chan with her warmest, brightest smile, with the rosiest cheeks, her glistening visage blinding anyone who could see her. The mere sight of her stirred something within Kou-Chan, and his possessiveness took over. He told Noroma that she shouldn't show that face to anyone else. Noroma was confused and asked Kou-Chan why. Kou-Chan then began to lie. He told her it's because everyone knows that she's ugly, and she should know it, so she shouldn't get so smug about it. The words seemed to have struck something within her, and she didn't respond. Trying to hide the fact that he liked her, Kou-Chan told her that he's the only one who can tolerate her face. As Kou-Chan began to walk away smugly, Noroma said Kou-Chan's name quietly. As Kou-Chan tried to figure out the feeling in his chest, he admitted to himself that he doesn't want anyone else to see Noroma's cuteness, just him and him alone. Meanwhile, Noroma realized that she had a twisted love and affection towards Kou-Chan, but she just can't control herself. Walking to school, Noroma called out to Kou-Chan before rushing up to him and embracing his arm. Kou-Chan noticed that Noroma's chest was pressing tightly against his arm, and he freaked out. Kou-Chan yelled at Noroma to let go and that she's being childish for doing so. Noroma, acting very lax, let go and said that she understood. That night, Kou-Chan recalled the earlier event and realized how well endowed Noroma was, and questioned how someone so stupid could be so blessed. Unfortunately, he got too excited by the memory and had an accident. The next day, Noroma greeted Kou-Chan minus the arm grapple. However, Kou-Chan barely greeted her, his eyes not able to meet hers and barely able to form any words, all due to the embarrassment from the night before. Noroma quickly put two and two together and began to blush at Kou-Chan's misery. Kou-Chan eventually was able to find a girlfriend and instantly went to Noroma to brag. He told her that he can't walk home with her anymore, so she needs to learn to be independent. Noroma had no opinion about Kou-Chan's smugness, so she just told him that she'll do as he says. Kou-Chan then began to walk with his new girlfriend, thinking about how she was better than Noroma, sounded better than her, looked better than her, and when he saw Noroma through the window, he began to talk about her to his girlfriend, after ignoring everything his girlfriend had said as they walked. As Noroma walked home, someone hit her in the back. Turning to look, she saw it was Kou-Chan and commented that she was surprised to see him. He didn't respond to her words, but after a moment of silence, he let her know that he'll be walking home with her again from now on. Noroma questioned if Kou-Chan wasn't going to walk home with his girlfriend. However, Kou-Chan yelled that he just told her that he's going to walk home now. Calming slightly, Kou-Chan confessed that he broke up with his girlfriend, so who cares about her? Kou-Chan then thought about why the girl dumped him, with her saying that she felt unloved since he only talked about Noroma. He questioned what was wrong with him while smack-talking her. As he was almost crying, Noroma was blushing once again, as she loved how he was so pathetic, and that no matter what he does to leave Noroma, he always comes crawling back to her. They were inseparable, come hell or high water, and for Kou-Chan, it was closer to the former rather than the latter.